Well, good evening. I was trying to make sure I was unmuted, but it didn't want to make sure I was unmuted. So now I am unmuted. Good Sunday evening, everybody. I'm going to give some time for Facebook and for YouTube and everybody to send out the message that we are here and we are live. We're live. Every time I say that, the song for In Living Color comes to mind. And so I try to fight the urge to go ahead and sing it. But sometimes I really want to. I really want to sing it. Sometimes I really want to sing it. Yes. Okay, let me send out the message to the folks. Y'all go ahead and pass the word that Arlissa is on, and she's going to talk about this upcoming week of what's coming in the market potentially. There we go. I believe that's that. I'm going to tell us what we see, what could be going on, this whole wars and rumors of wars. Yeah, this is not good. This is a no bueno, okay? Definitely don't want to be involved in the wars. But seems like there has been a little upset in the Middle East. So we need to make sure that we're prepared or keeping that in mind as we move forward with our trading week. All the things matter, right? You don't necessarily want to quote unquote capitalize, but all the things matter. If you're deciding which way things are going, you got to look at all the pieces to see what could possibly be running, right? Right. Good Sunday evening. Let me see who says it. Janae, hola, hola, hola. Hey, Tanya. Tanya showing out on the Peakbot picks. Showing out, girl. Showing out. Yeah, not showing out. It's showing out. Because that. Okay, Peakbot picks. Yes. I love it. I love it. Listen, I'm here for it. Definitely. Hey, Johnny. Definitely here for it. Let's see how things are going. Hey, Lisa. Let's see that you are third in line with 6 points. Look at you. You know what, though? I did see a message. And in the little blurb, it talked about needing to have your picks in by 10. But I believe I was told 11 before. So we were getting our picks in by 11, and if they need to be in by 10, that may be why we late. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, it said that the message I saw. Then I sent Dylan a message and said, I thought we needed to have them in by 11. Let me see if he replied back, because I was like, bruh. No, okay. To make he sent me a message back saying that he didn't understand what I was asking. Okay, so I told him to make the Peakbot picks post. Right? I'm misunderstanding. You mean when will the watch list? No, not with the watch list. I'm trying to figure out when. Anyway, we'll see. Let me make sure we're on the right network in here. Nope. Let me change the network so it can put us in the right place so it can. Come on, hurry up. There we go. When I'm in the front of the house, it's the same network that the whole house is on. But when I'm in my office, I need more power back here, and it has its own network. But if it doesn't automatically, sometimes it doesn't automatically switch over. I have to go make sure. Gotta go make sure. Okay. Well, let's see what we've got here. I don't want to go there. I want to go here. Come on, there we go. I'm going to take us up here maybe, so that way when we share the screen, we can see what we're looking at. Okay. Present, share the screen. I see Patrick's here. Tanya said, she's picking up what I'm putting down. Yeah. Okay. So, there we go. This is what we had for last week. This was last week's chart for SPX. I still haven't figured out how to fill in my candles. That's got to be like a candle. I've always had them like this, so it's never bothered me. But I see on the screen it looks kind of weird. I've never really. I don't know what makes it not fill in. Why are the reds filled in and the greens are not? That is so weird. Anyway, this is SPX. This is SPX for last week. This last candle, we're on the weekly chart, which means that please confirm the time. Yeah. Okay. I'm definitely gonna confirm the time because I know. Okay, he sent me something else. Let me say, no, Dylan. I'm clarifying what time do we need to post our picks on Monday morning? Is it 10 or 11? Time. Okay. Yeah, because I've been posting mine by 11, which, I'm not saying that that's why I'm not, I'm not saying that's why I'm not higher on the list. I'm just saying I shouldn't be like not on the list. Like I need to be on here somewhere. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm doing a great, I mean, that I'm like the best picker of all, but I am saying that I know I'm not like nowhere on this list. So I'm trying to figure out what could be the source of the issue because there has to be an issue. Oh. It says 11 is the deadline. Wow. Okay. So I've been doing it by 11 and 11 is the deadline. Okay. Oh, they been letting people make Tuesday entries as well. That's a little bit. No, we can't be doing Tuesday entries. Okay. I'm going to move on because I need to be able to see what's going on. I'll send him a message. Okay, so he said you can post either Monday or Tuesday by 11. Okay, Monday or Tuesday by 11. Okay, so let me see. Janae said confirm the time. He said 11. LL says select settings on the top right corner and then select appearance to change candle colors. Settings being this right here. No, that doesn't go with candle colors. That must not be the same settings. Setup, maybe? Application settings, workspace. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Because he replied back. He said for March, it was influencers, and which would be me. And for April, it's just general public, and the influencers aren't included. I was like, bruh, you're not gonna tell me that I'm not getting any of these right because I need to be somewhere on this watch list, somewhere on this leaderboard. But he says influencers aren't included for April. Just the random, not random, the general public, not the random, because y'all aren't random, just the general public. So cool. That makes more sense. So Tanya, you're doing wonderful. You and Janae, y'all up in there. We represent E2T represent. Right. E2T represent. I'm stuck on this chart, but I'm still talking and acting silly. Okay, so did I message from the Facebook Messenger this morning if I wanted to invest in the Bitcoins? Yeah, no, bro, that was not me. Ward, that was not me. Okay, let me make sure. Just let me pause real quick. Remove real fast. Okay, if you're listening to me, I do not. First of all, I do not trade for people. I don't reach out to anybody in their messenger asking them for money, and I don't trade Bitcoin like that. I mean, I do have some Bitcoin stuff, but I don't talk to anybody about trading Bitcoin because I don't know enough about it to trade it like or to be telling nobody Nathan, right? I learn from like Tall Guy Tycoon, and I see some interesting stuff. I mean, I got some Ethereum, I got some XRP, I got a little bit of Shiba Inu, but nope. So if you get people in your inbox talking about let me trade for you, that ain't me. If they saying give me your money so you do Bitcoin, that ain't me. If they talking about Forex, that ain't me. None of those things are me. Okay. That's not how I get down. But Ward, thanks. So if you got that stuff from somebody, please, what is it? Like, please report them. Make sure that you block them, report them, send in all the stuff that Facebook lets you send in so that this can stop. People basically, these scammers, they are nonstop. And whoever they can get, I guess they can. But yeah, don't fall for any of that. Anybody don't fall for any of that. That's not me. That's not me. Hey, Tamar, how you doing? Okay, now I can go back. Now that I've given that out. Okay, I will do my disclaimer though. Everything we talk about on here, anything I talk about on my channel at all, is none of it's investment advice or financial advice. I just, we hanging out, we talking, we having a good time, because y'all know I'm gonna make some jokes and do some laughing, and that's what we're gonna do. Okay, this was SPX last week. This big old red candle. Now, interestingly enough, I identified last Sunday that this was an engulfing candle from the previous week, and that we were probably going to have a down week, because this engulfing candle was basically saying the market had turned, or at least was pulling back. I don't know if, because even my topic for last week was, is it a turnaround or just a pullback, right? So this engulfing candle would let us know that. And then this week been a down week, basically did what it said it was going to do. So this is our support level though at 5107, with the support between, these few things. And, depending on how you want to put your line, you can put a few different places. It can go here, it can go there. Either way, 51, 25, 51, somewhere in there, there's a zone. Remember, anytime you put a line on the chart, for me especially, anytime I put a line on the chart, it is a zone. I know that if there's room here, that it's not just a hard line, like it's not going to hit 51.25 and bounce up and go the other way. No, there's room for it to go down some more. It's a zone. Okay, don't ever think it hit this and it's still going through it. No, if it don't go all the way through and keep going, then that's a rejection, right? If it goes lower like it did here and then it pulls back, then that's a rejection of that zone. Okay, it's still in that zone, so be careful there. So that was last week. We had a red week on SPX last week. Of course, overall market was last week. SPX covers the S&P 500, right? I guess I probably could start talking about the Dow and the NASDAQ in here too, because those, maybe I'll hit the NASDAQ as well, so that way we can look at not just what the S&P does, but what did the NASDAQ do. Hey, Deborah, how you doing, girly? So this was the daily. This is the daily chart, where we ran up March 21st. We pulled back and we went and retested it again on April the 1st. We went and retested it again on April the 4th. It has not gone past every time. Then it went ahead and pulled back, right? Let me see if we can get us no, I don't want to close down. No, I want to have a trend line. If we have par here, and then we can go through here, this is our trend line. There may be a little bit of up that can go, and then that's the trend line that has now been created. And if you look here, we also have a trend line going through here. So we kind of are in a bit of a downward channel, but this moving average here will play, this moving average will play support. So just keep that in mind. I want to say this is the 50. I don't think that's the 200, but it might be. Let me see. Let me take this off so I can see which one. 200. This is the 200 down here. This must be the 50. Up here, and it'll go poop. Price can come in. These moving averages can play support and resistance as well. All right, let me go on to NASDAQ. Oh, no. How about we do it this way? QQQ is the NASDAQ. QQQ doesn't feel like it's the full NASDAQ though. It feels like it's closer to SPY, not the whole dealio. Let There we go. NDX is the NASDAQ. Triple Q is the just like SPY. It's the 10%er. Triple Q is also what the ETF. So come on now. I went with you today, Thinkorswim, so you could work with me. But now, if you want to act wonky, we will leave you hanging. I'll go somewhere else. Okay, this is the NASDAQ. Let's go to the weekly chart first. See what the weekly chart looked like. Okay. Had been on a nice little uptrend. Looks like it has now has been at a resistance place and hadn't really gone past there. Okay, this is the weekly chart, mind you. And the last 2 weeks, just like SPX, has started to pull back. This is the weekly chart. If we were going with a support, support would be in the 17,805 and resistance in the 18,300s, somewhere up there. So let's go with the daily. The daily chart. It got above this line here, got above the resistance line and went up to 18,400, went up there, but then didn't really hold on to that. Has come down. Got us some resistance. I probably could bring that up to this green up here. And then this trend really is going downwards a little more wide. Come on. Give me a line. There we go. This one's kind of going here. Trend lines are weird because then you could say these are higher. I don't like that one. I don't like that trend line. I'd much rather go with this trend line. Yeah. There we go. Trend line is here. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger so those who are looking on phones or whatever else can see what's going on. Looks like we've got a little bit of a flag forming, staying in between this zone, and then at some point it's going to pop out, going to the upwards or going downwards, pretty much. But this is what looks like the NASDAQ has really been in a consolidation zone for a while. It dropped below it for a little while back here in February, but since February the 22nd, it's really been between 1,800 and 1,780, 1,840 and 1,780. Notice it's kind of been in here in this zone for a pretty good little bit. Okay. I'm going to go back to SPX and let's look at what could possibly be coming for this week. Let's look at what could possibly be coming for this week. Last week, we didn't have a lot in terms of earnings, but earnings is the season started last Friday. And one thing they started with was JP Morgan. We can look real quick at JP Morgan, but from what I heard and saw with my own eyes, JP Morgan kind of crashed a bit. I believe there's a lot not being said about banks. The banking situation is, I believe, this is my own speculation, because of course they're not talking about it, but my own speculation is that the banking situation is a little more dire than they're saying it is, right? Okay, I'm gonna get to the end of this one day. Is a little more dire than they're saying that it is. But they're kind of trying to keep everybody calm, so they're not really telling what's going on with the banking situation. That's my thought, my speculations, okay? It's showing up in other places like the car sales, car financing, the number of people who are defaulting on car loans, they're starting to default. They're not really mentioning people are defaulting on mortgages, stuff like that. There are things like that are happening because people are, if I got to pick between, buying groceries, and keeping my lights on, when people got to make a choice because these things are so expensive, they're going to choose what is most pertinent. You're going to choose what's most pertinent, and keeping your lights on and keeping your family fed is going to be a little bit higher. Going to be a little higher. So this is the way we go, because the groceries right now, that grocery situation is crazy. It's crazy. So you're paying $10 for a thing of bleach, a gallon of bleach. When has bleach ever been $10 for a gallon of bleach? Now, I guess now it's been $10 now. Yeah, Tamar says, I agree unless there's a banking crisis, but the media is keeping it hush hush. It's real quiet. It's real hot quiet. Go to the cogwheel on the blue bar at the top. Okay, I'll say cogwheel right here. I see your notes, and select appearance tab. Select fill up the box. Okay, I'm gonna select appearance tab and select fill up. Oh, fill up. There we go. Fill up box. Pew, pew. Thank you, LL. Appreciate it. I never knew why those weren't filled. I didn't know why they weren't all the way. But look at there. We can see so much better. I can see clearly now. My candles are full. Yes, I can see clearly with my candles full. And y'all can see clearly too. I was seeing fine with the green because I'm looking at it right here, but on those calls, not so much. Appreciate you, LL, for at least for sticking with me till I did it. That would be something Jamie would do. He would be like, Alyssa, will you go? He would continue to repeat it until I did it. So appreciate you. Okay. So SPX, the plan for SPX this coming week, we're at support. You can see here, we are at support. Come on, where you going? Oh, where you going? Okay. 51.25, we're in the zone for some support. And there's actually some more just below us. There's another support area, maybe at the bottom of this gap, 51.12. And that gap's kind of filled now. Let me go back and adjust the gap because it's not as unfilled as it appears anymore. Okay, it is now. This part is filled. There we go. It's only open, it's filled it. So that gap is completely gone because this red candle here filled it. So we don't even have that anymore. We've got support here at 51.12, down here. And if we wanted to find one a little bit lower, low, we are down here at 50.78. Okay, yes, $10 for bleach. A friend of mine posted it on online the other day. She was showing that a gallon of bleaches was $10. And she was at Walmart. I believe she was at Walmart. 51.74 is our resistance. So we're kind of, this last candle is really between these two zones. And we'll see what happens. Again, there may be a little bit more, but it's also at resistance. So it may, this may keep going on downwards. I was just mentioning the thing about the war and, let me see if that'll stop it. Yeah. About the war. Well, generally, when there's war going on, there is fear in the market. And when there's fear in the market, the VIX goes up. When the VIX is going up, the price is generally going down. Okay. Generally. This is, let me share my screen again. I'm not sure why I pushed to release that because I still need it. So let's go again. This is the VIX from Friday. So the VIX on Friday. See how high we went here? And I believe if I change it over to the VIX, I believe shows up on pre-market, post-market. Let's see if we can put a 30-minute chart on and see if we see some after the market. Looks like we don't really have any Friday after market. Sorry for moving this so fast. This was 4 o'clock on Friday. We'll have to wait and see what happens when the VIX picks back up. But it's climbing, right? You can see that even from 14.9 and it went up as high as 19 on Friday. 19.2. This is the VIX. Yep. 19.2 on Friday. When the VIX is up like this, the market's generally down. So you definitely got to keep all that in mind when you're trading. That's why we, in the mornings, when we're doing the different things, we're going through the VIX, the different futures and notes. People are like, why y'all go through all that? We're going through those things because if the VIX is showing that it's rising or it's up high, that can give you some indication as to what the market will do for the day. Not that it'll do that all day long, but it can at least tell you like, how will it open? What should you be looking out for? Because it may be something that's going on with that. Yeah. Again, last week we didn't really have a whole lot as far as earnings, but this week, not so much. We got a lot of earnings coming up this week. Let's add this to the stage. Coming to the stage, the earnings. Earnings season is starting. Earnings season is now starting. Let me pause the the scroller so we can see what's going on here. Monday morning, we've got Goldman Sachs, Charles Schwab, M&T Bank, Guarantee, Caliber. All those are Monday before the market opens. Skillsoft is Monday after close. First Bank, Inspired, Vuzix, Dragonfly, and I'm not sure who this is down here. CFB, Cross First, Bank Shares. Yep, that's who's next there. Then on Tuesday morning, we've got Bank of America, United Health Group, which is hospital, UNH, Johnson & Johnson, Morgan Stanley, Financial, BNY Mellon, PNC, Mercantile, Northern Trust, Ericsson, Commerce Bank. All those are bankers. Tuesday after market closes, we've got United, Interactive Brokers, which is a broker, right? Says that in the name. JB Hunt and Associates, by the way. I'm sure the Associates don't like being left off. Omnicom Group, On Track Health, Hancock Whitney, Equity Bank Shares, Fulton Financial, and America Mobile, AMX. Okay. Then on Wednesday morning, we've got ASML. Is ASML Semiconductors? Does anybody know? I want to say it is, but semiconductors. Abbott, that's something that ran hot last week with semiconductors. NVIDIA got back on a horse and decided it was ready. Let's ride out, bro. It went right on riding out. Prologis, Travelers, Bancorp, Bank United, First Horizon, SNL, I think that says Telemedicine. Oh, SNL Telemedicine. And First Community Corporation and Citizens Bank is behind here too. Alcoa, Wednesday after close. Alcoa, Sands, Kinder Morgan, Discover, CSX, SL Green, Synovus, Liberty, Bank of the Ozarks, and Crown Castle. Thursday before open, Taiwan Semiconductors, TSM. Now that's one to watch. Woo-hoo, Taiwan Semiconductors, because then they running right along with NVIDIA and AMD and all them dudes. So they're a lot more affordable than NVIDIA, because NVIDIA at that $900 price point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nokia is here. Blackstone Group. I was thinking, how did BlackRock do on Friday? I don't think I noticed what happened on Friday with that. I heard about JP Morgan. KeyBank, Elevance Health, DR Horton, Alaska Airlines, Texas Capital Bank, Infosys, and Ally. Ally's a bank as well. Now, a lot of these smaller banks are a lot more heavily affected by the interest rates staying where they are, right? Or interest rates going on for longer and not coming back down. Some banks, like the big boys, like the Bank of Americas and those bigger ones, they, Wells Fargo and those may not be hit as hard. But some of these little ones, like the Allies of the world, they're going to be, they're more negatively affected by interest rates being high and all those good things. Come back here. I wasn't done with that. Okay. So Thursday after close, we've got Netflix coming. Netflix. Now, again, speculating, Netflix probably gonna pop. This is just me speculating, and I'm gonna tell you why. Bridgerton. They putting Bridgerton out right before earnings. Sorry, I hit my desk and that's making my camera shake. Anybody in here watch Bridgerton? I'm a Bridgerton watcher. Yes. Bridgerton is coming up. The season 3, I think it is. It's getting ready to release. And I believe I read something about a Mike Tyson fight that's going to be on Netflix. Mike Tyson finna fight? Bruh. Really? Listen, so Netflix is doing some good things. And I think people thought they were going to experience some issues when they started pulling back on those sharing subscriptions. But their last earnings was pretty good. Again, that's not investment advice. I'm telling anybody to go out and do nothing. I'm just saying that these things can be catalysts to help them with good earnings. Netflix is Intuitive Surgical is also Thursday after market close. PPG, WAL, not sure who they are. Metropolitan Commercial Bank, Alpine, BladeX, SB Financial, PFG, this is Provident, and First Western. And before the open on Friday, we got American Express, Amex, Procter & Gamble, SLB, YPro, Fifth Third Bank, Huntington Regions, and Lakeland Bank. Okay. So I went through all the earnings and stuff that were for coming up. We don't really have, I know in my community, we don't necessarily have a great strategy for as sellers for earnings, because selling doesn't really lend itself to the level of volatility that happens when you're trading earnings, when it pops like it does. I mean, we do have a few things that you can do, which is you can buy straddles or strangles, which straddles is really a buying strategy, and strangles can be, you can go out further in time when you're a seller, but you kind of got to have a bias. You need to decide like which way do you think it's going to go when you're doing earnings. So what we do as sellers is we basically just wait till after the earnings pops and then go after that. We go after that. So Janae says, yeah, live fight this summer on Netflix. Ward says he'll be fighting a 28-year-old guy by the name of Jake Paul. 28? So this is a money grab. Okay. I saw some stuff about ASML. A fire sale takes place when there's fear, and I got greedy and bought as much as I can on this past Friday. Crypto plummeted, retail plummeted, some energy. Yeah, I hear that this is the time. I was actually listening. I told you I was listening to Tall Guy Tycoon. I'm not sure if y'all watch him. His name is Armando Pantoja. He's Tall Guy Tycoon on all the things. But he was talking about, he had said actually a while back, I listen to him on Sunday nights. He does like a live call on his Instagram every Sunday night, like 9-ish, 10-ish, something like that. And he was saying just before halving, just before that, which is happening in a few days, just before halving, the price was going to tank like this. And the reason is it was good because it basically will give the manipulators a chance to go buy a bunch of it. Basically, they'll give the people who really will ride it out and put a bunch of money in. It'll bring the price down. This little dip, this big dip brings the price down so they can buy up a bunch of it so that when it runs up, they're going to already have it and they will have gotten it at a lower price. So there's where, people, I had it, I ride it up, I get to the top, I sell, some or all or whatever. And then we run the price back down real quick because selling moves the price back down, right? So we move the price back down, I get back in, buy me some more. And when it pops, like pops, I got me some more. And I took profits off already. And when it run again, I'm going to grab some more profits. Yeah. That's how that goes. Okay. I was looking at my comments here. LL said, absolutely. Y'all know I sing on here. This is how we get through this and make it entertaining and fun for me. Ward said he bought some detergent for $7 something and got 2 of the same size bottles for free. Yeah, depending on what brand you do. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm a fan of the Gain washing powder, and I will Dollar General Gain on Saturdays. You get 5 off 25, and they always have coupons. They're digital coupons on Gain. You can go in there and get the Tide pods, because I don't really do that big jug no more because I know the big jug is mostly water, so I do pods. People say don't do the plastic in the pods. I'm cool with that. I'd rather get the plastic in the pods than get a bunch of water in my detergent. So that's a trade-off, I guess. And I get my scent beads and all that go with Gain, and I'm cool with that. Janae says there's definitely fear in the market. The fear greed index is at 50, is under 50, it's at 46. Oh yeah. Fire sale. Tamara, she bought a bunch of stuff. ASML is semiconductors, advanced semiconductor equipment. Yep. Tanya, let me see what else I see here. 28-year-olds gonna be fighting live. Gonna fight him live. Wow. Yes. Well, I watched Bridgerton, and Mike Tyson does have a fight that will air on Netflix the 20th. Okay. Iron Mike will earn 20 million. Wow. Jake Paul will earn 30 million. Well, even if he lose, if you lose, you earn 30 million. You just can get in there and get beat down, and still shouldn't Tyson be getting the biggest paycheck? Well, not necessarily. You know how this goes. But you know what though? You get what you what's the word? You get what you negotiate. There we go. You get what you negotiate. You negotiate 20 million, you get 20 million. You negotiate 30, you get 30. Maybe when Mike was 28, he could have. I got Arm & Hammer, both pods. Oh, good. And liquid. Okay, cool. I like Arm & Hammer as well. I won't talk about who I'm not a fan of, but I really like Gain, and I do like Arm & Hammer. Okay, so we looked at our earnings. We got a bunch of good earnings starting to come up this week. I'm going to add it back to the stage. So you can see now we've taken time in our community to look at how do we trade as sellers, because I want to now start adding primarily, I'm primarily an option sellers coach. That is what I do. But we're expanding in the educator to trader community. We are expanding ourselves. Yes, I've been learning the strat. And well, I think I've been learning it. Sometimes I feel like I'm not necessarily learning it, but I'm expanding my skills. So as I expand my skills, I can help to expand the skills of the people who are in my community. So we've already spent a lot of time on working with start with the chart. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this little quick disclaimer, this quick little, shameless plug. You need to go look at startwiththechart.com, startwiththechart.com. It's a free charting webinar. Start with the chart. I'm going to spell it out because Facebook doesn't seem to like that link. Startwiththechart.com. It's a free webinar on charting. If you don't know how to chart, you don't know how to find support resistance, you don't know how to find trend lines, you don't know how to use candles, like I mentioned that engulfing candle. If you don't know what an engulfing candle is, or a hammer, or an inverted hammer, or a doji, if you don't know those phrases, you go watch the free webinar. All right, go watch the free webinar. If you going to know a few different indicators, some basic indicators you'd like to be able to use, moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSIs, basic stuff, go watch the webinar. Okay, it's free. All it asks you for is your email address, and you can see the webinar for free. All righty, go check that out. Some good earnings are here. So I was going there to say, primarily we're sellers. We watch the trends and the trades, and then we do our selling, right? But as we are learning, expanding our skills, we may have some buying opportunities, and that could also include debit spreads. We do credit spreads primarily, but debit spreads is also what we do. Yes, it's also what we do. And the debit spreads, where are you? I don't know if it's here. Debit spreads basically is a bullish move, bullish, bearish, depending on, it's a going in the same direction move. It's a long, there we go. It's a long move. So if you're put debit spread, you're thinking you want price to go down. If you want call debit spread, you want price to go up. And of course, it's the opposite for the credit spreads. All right, that's what's going on there. I did put out some things this week. I don't want to go here yet. I want to go here first. I want to go to the calendar before I go to our trade ideas. On Monday, let's say the G7 meetings started today, all day today. On Monday, hope y'all can see this. I need to be able to see it myself. Nope, you can't see it because I'm not sharing it on the right screen. There we go. Now I can see this. I can see y'all. I can see me. I can make sure we in a good. Let me make it a little bit bigger. There we go. That should fill up the screen a little bit better. Okay. Core retail sales first thing Monday morning at 8:30. Empire State Manufacturing Index retail sales month over month. These are all red folders, right? First thing in the morning on Monday before market even opens, right? FOMC member Williams will speak at 8:30 as well. 10 o'clock, business inventories month over month. National Association of Home Buyers. Those are yellow folders. They need to quit playing and really make that Lisa orange. Day one of IMF meeting. What's an IMF? Due to meet about a range of global economic issues, including inflation, economic impact of the wars in Gaza and Ukraine, and the impact of artificial intelligence on the world economy in DC. International Monetary Fund. That's what that starts up. It says it's held twice a year. All right, that's going to be all day on Monday. I'm surprised why this, I'm really wondering why it's a yellow folder. That kind of stuff they just mentioned is a little more than yellow folder worthy. That sounds like some at least orange folder information. And then daily is speaking at 8 o'clock at night. Market will be closed. Tuesday, 8:30 in the morning, we got building permits and housing starts. Okay, how many people are applying for permits? Housing starts, 9 o'clock, FOMC member Jefferson speaks. Industrial production month over month, capacity utilization 9:15. Day 2 of the IMF meeting. We're getting to what's important here. FOMC member Barkin will speak at 1, and then at 1:15, ding, ding, ding. Powell is going to speak. Jay Powell is speaking at 1:15 on Tuesday. Let's see what he's going to be talking about. He's going to participate in the fireside chat about economic trends in North America at the Wilson Center Washington Forum in Washington, D.C. As head of the central bank, he basically, whatever the stuff he says is important. That's why he's like E.F. Hutton. He's the E.F. Hutton of our day. Traders scrutinize his public engagements as they are often used to drop subtle clues regarding future monetary policy. I don't know. He does a pretty good job of not getting caught by saying something that's, that contradicts something he previously said. He does pretty good. Other people be saying stuff and then the market will move, but he pretty much stays steady. I'm sure he's been coached very well. So Wednesday, we've got some things coming up. Crude oil inventories, IMF meetings are continuing. Beige book, 4:00. We got long-term purchases. FOMC member Mester speaking and Bowman speak after the market closes. These are the ones that start to move the market. Thursday, we got unemployment claims first thing in the morning. Unemployment claims was positive last week, and they got a little green on the market that day. Philly Fed manufacturing indexes Thursday morning. Bowman and Williams are speaking at 9:15. That's before the market opens. Existing home sales at 10 o'clock. It's an orange folder at least. CB leading index. IMF meeting still going on. Gas storage. And day 5, Friday, all we really have is IMF meetings. No red Friday as far as this goes, right? So when we look at what's coming up, we've got Thursday, a red folder, unemployment. We've got Tuesday, red folder on Powell speaking. And on Monday, we got red folders before those sales and such. All right, so we've got 3 red days, 3 red meeting days or data days as they call them. That's the 3, as we don't have 3 red days. We've got 3 times that we're going to be looking at. Okay, now I want to go over here to the trades we have set. We have some suggested trades for the week. They're probable, possible. You can do what's comfortable for you, right? This watch list, for the most part, comes from Peakbot, powered by Peakbot. The list of the stocks come from Peakbot. I select the strikes. Okay, I look at the chart. I look at a few other inputs, and I come up with what I think is going to be a successful strike. Which Peakbot doesn't really give you strikes. Peakbot enters the strikes based on the delta. 30 delta is the sell leg and 10 delta is the buy leg. So these spreads are going to be much wider if you're looking on Peakbot. I do them like 50 cents or $1 because that's what we do in our community. If you want to widen it, you can always feel free to widen the spread, give you a little more premiums. Also, you put more collateral on the board. So that's how that goes. But lower risk stocks, we've got Bank of America, which has earnings. So this may not be the best one to do. It's got earnings. Tyson Foods, CVS, Kroger, Coca-Cola, and TJ Maxx are all on the lower risk. Moderate risk, we've got MRO, Marathon. This is an oil company. Wells Fargo, DocuSign, Oxy, Uber, Disney, Amazon, Verizon, Dow, PayPal, Baba, Win, and Oracle. Those are the ones. Again, if you're not sure how to trade vertical credit spreads, then look through my channel. I've got several videos on credit spreads because it's what we do here, right? But there's one that talks about doing credit spreads on Robinhood. If you're a Robinhood person, Robinhood has a lot of great things that are going on. Good thing is the fees on Robinhood are very low. So if you're trying to do multiple contracts, Robinhood is a good place to do a lot of contracts because the price per contract is pretty low. The drawback to Robinhood is on a Friday afternoon. If your trade, you need to basically long story short, you need to close your trades on your own because at 3:30, Robinhood gonna come snatch it. It don't matter. You could have a few. If you got some millions or a bunch of money in there, they may not. But Robinhood will close your trades on you. Like, oh, we did our risk assessment and bye. They'll close it right now. The thing is, they don't close it at the best price for you. They close it at the best price for them. So they definitely close it at a market price, which may not be right in that bid and ask. It might be, at the end of something, and now it ain't gonna be what you want. Like, I really would like to have this closed at a reasonable place, and no, that's not how they do that. So keep that in mind, right? Let me go up here and turn on the freebie so y'all can see what are the free resources. There's several free resources running along the bottom. You got free resources as it pertains to trading SPX. If you're new to options and you just are a newbie and want to see how do you get started with a quick start guide, that's a freebie that's here. How do we make 10% every day? We got SPX hacks. There's all kind of good stuff here. The 0DTE cheat code, 7 mistakes traders make that keep them from 7 figures. All those are things you can go and grit for free. You can go get those for free. Okay. All righty. So, where are we going next? Where am I going next? Where? Oh, I said I wanted to talk at EOG. So I'm looking here at Capital Flow. Not sure. Let me get off here. I need to add this back to the stage. We're going to go back to look at some of those things on the list. I want to go chart some of those items off of our list. Okay. This is Capital Flow. I don't know but I know my community has heard of Capital Flow, but this is what's going on. This usually populates. It's not populated now because the market is closed, but Capital Flow shows you where is big money being spent on contracts. Where is money being spent on contracts, right? And it shows you real time. Anybody who's looked at Flow, you can see just where is the money flowing. Where's it flowing? You really can't see where it's flowing from, but you can see where it's flowing to, right? So we use Capital Flow. JT, he's at Almighty JT. I'm gonna put it in the comments. He's on Instagram, the Almighty JT. Capital Flow app by at the Almighty JT. Yeah, you can go check it out, look at it and see if there's some interest. Capital Flow at this point, I want to say it's either $35 or $40 a month. And I'm not necessarily plugging that you go run off and buy something from JT, even though he's my buddy. But if it's useful, which it is, by the way, then you go and see, you go get what you need to help. So looking over here to the right, I'm not sure if y'all can see this very well. I'm trying to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm over here. I want you to get bigger. Let me see if I can get it to grow. Yeah. Okay, so if you're looking over here to the right, these are trade alerts. These are alerts. And basically what this is showing here is that throughout the day, repeat orders start to come in. This whole trade alerts, which goes with this little bell up here if you have Capital Flow, repeat alerts will show up over here. And it says several orders came in for Apple 180 calls with the 621 expiration. This order came in or hit the system at 357, right before market close. Y'all see that foolery, right? The VIX 28 call for 522. Now, some of these are, out a little bit more in time. Look at this Microsoft call for 419. That means several orders came in for Microsoft 425 calls at 4/19/2024. NVIDIA 800 calls. Now, what you'll notice is that these calls, this one is 415 SPY on Monday. Notice that many of these are in the money. They're in the money calls, right? 425, Microsoft is higher. And NVIDIA is definitely at $900. Well, these big ones, you spend a bunch of money. You don't have to be at the money when you're putting millions and sometimes billions into something. You don't need to be at the money to make money. You can be in the money. If it move a little bit, you put a bunch of money in, you're going to get something. You're going to get some good proceeds out. But that's not the way we use it, right? Because we're not trying to compete with the people who are putting in big money, but there's nothing wrong with following the big money. The big money says Microsoft for 419 on calls. You might want to say, well, Microsoft may be going up this week. So how do we use that as a seller? We look at put credit spreads with the you look closer at your chart and say, let's see what will be a good put credit spread strike. NVIDIA, they got calls 419. So you can say, okay, what would be a good put credit spread strike for NVIDIA? SPY 415. What will be a good put credit spread strike for 415 on SPY? Maybe not necessarily 510. 510 may be fine, but it may not be 510. The one I want to look at though is EOG. EOG, which I don't know how I missed this on Friday. I need to make sure a thing that dings when something comes in here, because EOG had these 3 big orders came in right at the same time. Boom, boom, boom. Notice three different strikes, 128, 125, and 118. They all came in Friday at 331 for 419. Well, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put in EOG. I'm going to put in EOG, right? And EOG is going to show us how much money got put into EOG. You see the date, the time is here. All of this premiums column is money that was put into EOG calls. This is how much money was put into EOG throughout the afternoon. All those are at 331. Multiple, or this order right here is over $1 million went into EOG. Right? This one's a bullish. This one's a neutral, large order, bullish. You see all this? 584,000, 695,000, 775,000. All of this happened on Friday afternoon. All this happened on Friday. So, what y'all think that means? 2 million, 2 million, 3 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. What? Y'all see what happened? Now these are in the money calls. So what we go do is we use capital flow on something like this, and then you go say, well, shoot, what they know, we don't know. What they know, we don't know. Somebody knows something we don't know, right? So then you take this information, you go to the chart. I'm still scrolling. This is 3:30, 3:10 is the time. All this money came in after 3 o'clock on Friday. Right? Y'all see all this? This is all EOG money. All this is the same stock over and over and over and over. All these orders came in on Friday. All right. So then how do you use this piece of information, right? How do we use this information? We go to the chart. We go to EOG. We go look at EOG. Now, I've got a lot of different stuff on this chart. Let me see what I got. Bollinger Bands. And if it's confusing, then we can, take something. Where's my plus sign? I need a plus sign here so I can get bigger. Where did the plus sign go? I need this to be able to get bigger. Where's my plus sign? Okay. I don't see it. This is Trading View. Why can't I find my plus sign? Okay. So anyhow, this is the weekly chart of EOG. I need regular candles, not those. This is stuck. That's why it's doing this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I need to give that a minute to decide it's ready to act right. The Bollinger Band. Bollinger Bands basically are saying that I want to say 87 to 90% of price action should stay within these bands. These Bollinger Bands are based on statistics. They're based on 2 standard deviations out, 2 standard deviations down. So it says basically, because that 2 standard deviations, that's like 16. So 84% of price action should stay between these bands. Notice how the bands is bumping here, then it kind of dances around the middle a little bit. It comes down, hits the bottom, and goes back up. That's what's going on with Bollinger Bands. I know what's wrong with this. I know. There we go. I know something was wrong with it. There we go. Put me back on candles. Okay, so I still don't see my plus, though. I need to get this bigger so I can see. This is the strat over here to the left. For those who've been looking at the strat, that's what's going on over here. This is the daily chart over here on the left. This is the daily chart. This is the weekly. I can't expand this because it won't let me make it any bigger. I don't know where my plus sign is. Okay. Well, let's go look at where would be some support and resistance. I need to turn some stuff off so we can all see the lines without it being confusing. Turn off some indicators. Okay, that EMA can stay on. Where did you go? Come back. Here we are. I kind of want to go to, I think I will go to what's acting right, because that is not acting right now. This is EOG. I don't know nothing about EOG, by the way. Somebody who's on the call maybe can do a quick look on what EOG is. They tell us here it's EOG Resources. So maybe somebody can tell us what they do. Okay. Now this is showing us, it look like, you know, they may be going down for the count, right? Let me put this on we were on the weekly. Let's look at our weekly chart first. It looks so different with these green candles. I've gotten so used to not having them that now it feels super bright. Okay, so let's look here and see what we got for some support and resistance number. This is a weekly chart, remember. Every candle is worth a week's worth of data. Okay, so we've got 133. It's got touched 2 or 3, 4 times, 5 times. So support where it was resistance here. Now it can be, you know how resistance and support can flip sides. And then we've got some support down at 119.26. Something happens in here as well. That's at 123.68. There is a gap here. Let me go ahead and put that on the little minor gap right there. There's a few other small ones coming back down as well. This gap here got filled by this big green candle. This was Thursday. This red candle was Friday. Red candle was Friday. Okay. This is the weekly chart. Now let's go to the daily chart. See what we see there. EOG Resources, together with its subsidiaries, explores, develops, produces, and markets crude oil, natural gas liquids, and natural gas. Explain the bands if it is inside. Is that good? Yes, inside the bands is what it's supposed to be doing. Bollinger Bands are telling you where price action is basically going to stay in there. It's almost like, I won't say the bands act like support and resistance, but they can kind of act like, they look like support and resistance. So this is the daily chart. Notice we've got back here. I'm actually probably going to move that candle. They're going to move that line up here. We touched it back here in October, and we had a pause or a slowdown when it came back to it on April the 4th. It has gone up and come back down. Now let's look. We can put us some resistance up here even higher because this went up as high as 139.67. Went up as high as there. Do I need some more data? I think I do. I need some more years. I got 1 year. I need 3 years. Need more years. Let's give us 3 years in the daily. Got more time, more data. I move it so fast it passes right on by. Okay, 138 is where we currently are. Let me see if I can find us some. So this is a resistance zone, even back from 2022. This is 2021 back here, where my mouse is. This is 2021. Was that pre-COVID? Going through COVID? That's what's going on here, right? So we've got some. Nope, I want. Here we go. Some more lines up here in this area. 140, 143 can go up as high as 146. This is the zones. We're currently at 138.60. Where we've seen in the, I'll say recent past, in the last 3 years was up to 146. Right? I don't know what could be the catalyst for what's going on with EOG, but you have to, again, you ain't got to necessarily understand why, but we can definitely follow the money. There's somebody put a whole lot. Y'all just saw me scroll. I scrolled all that time from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. There was, I showed $4, $5, $8 million, if not more. $10 million went into EOG. Not trying to convince anybody. So I'm not saying it like I'm trying to convince you of something, because again, I don't know anything about the company, but if it quack like a duck, walk like a duck, it might just be a duck. All right. But I really wanted to share that with you, to share with you that this is one of the ways that capital flow can be used. Capital flow can be used as a capital flow can be used as a buyer. It can be used as a seller. You could use capital flow. You can say, well, I believe it's, if you believe it's bullish, you say, okay, I believe it's bullish. So I'm going to do a put credit spread while it goes up. I believe it's bullish. So I'm going to buy a call. I believe it's bullish. So I'm going to do a call debit spread. I believe it's bullish. So I'm going to sell puts. There's 4 different ways, buying and selling, that you can utilize. Okay. In order to gain access to capital flow, you need to go to capitalflow.app. Actually, JT's running a special. I want to say it's $17 for the first month. $17 for the first month. When you go over there and you get all logged in, make sure you tell JT I sent you. Alyssa sent me over here, right? Or I heard about you from Alyssa. But you can utilize this. Again, this is not necessarily a video about me pumping capital flow, because we see, but I do see when there's things that, where'd it go? When there's things that we can use, I want us to utilize the things that are going to be helpful resources. If anybody's used flow app or whatever besides this one, they know they don't cost $40. You won't get a flow app for $40, right? And please don't say, or don't feel like just because it's $40 it's not worth the hundreds that other people are charging you. That's absolutely not the case. JT said he purposely decided he wanted to make this, he wanted to keep flow affordable. So he purposely set the price in a range where it was accessible. He didn't want it to be $100 and $200 or whatever a month for people to use. So only the people who are using it are those who want to put that kind of money on something. But throughout the day, you got a few different things you can do. You can watch these trade alerts. You can decide, I'm interested only in Amazon. Maybe you can say, okay, I only want to watch Amazon, or you can put as many things in this filter by symbol box that you want to. But if you only want to watch certain things, you can put on, whatever your watch list is, can go in right in here, and you can just see what kind of flow comes through the day based on what stock you're looking at. Then you got some things over here. You've got all, which I leave mine on all. In this box here, usually there's a 0 DTE tab you can pick, which will tell you that'll give you the SPYs, the SPXs, all the things that are 0 DTEs will pop up here. Then you can change it to weeklies. This will only give you things that are happening with this week's expirations. So if I could say this now, I can see that this is all the money that's going for 419. These all came in on Friday. So this will only give me a weekly expiration. And then if you say, I'm really more of a swing trader, I want to go out a little bit further, you can switch over to swing trading, and it'll give you dates further out for whatever. See, I still have Amazon picked up here. It'll tell me all the Amazon stuff that is not just this week, but out future weeks. And if you are a Leaps person, you can select Leaps, and it's going to take you out even further. This one here, Amazon, somebody bought somebody's, right? Somebody spent what, $29,000 on 130 puts for 2026 for Amazon, right? You can do that. And if you want to look at just, you only want to see like the big money, you got premiums over here where you can say, I really only want to see 250K and above. So if you only want to see the big orders, right, you can change this here for filter trades to something that's only big money. If the money is not at least a 250K, we don't want to see it. So it shows here on Friday at 3:47, somebody spent $1.8 million on 100 calls with a 1/17/2025 expiration. Somebody put $1 million on Leaps. I'm on the Leaps tab. So that we can switch back to weeklies and you can see whatever's going on. Even here, somebody put over $1.6 million on 175 calls for Amazon for this week. Okay, the green is the calls and the red would be the puts, but these are, I'm saying, but here's puts. I'm not saying but anything. Here's puts. Right? So whatever stock you want, you can say, I want to, you might trade some smaller stuff, which people, we do. I'm gonna pick on Janae real quick. Gonna pull in Janae's DraftKings. They're not Janae's DraftKings. I just always harass her because she's always talking about DraftKings. So I'll go back and look at it, Ward, because I don't know if that was 130 or 150. But anyway, you can look at DraftKings and say, okay, for 419, there's some puts that are put in place, and there's some calls that have been put in place for this coming week. And what you do, listen, you don't take this and just run with it. Yes. Are you calling me? Jamie. Okay. I'm believing he called by mistake. I was at Amazon. I think he called by mistake. If not, he'll call back. Jamie, that was you. I was answering the call for you because before he's called him and like, we can't hear you. So I had to check. You can't see my screen. There we go. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm just talking away. That's why he called. Here we go. Amazon. I don't think y'all didn't see the Amazon stuff either, did you? You didn't see any of the stuff I showed you, like the weekly, the swings, the leaps. Okay, there we go. We can't see. Share your screen. Thank you. I got it. This is Amazon I mentioned to you all, and we've got the weeklies, you got swings, and you got leaps. And this was showing all the money that's been put on Amazon. It went in on Friday, and this is for calls for this coming week's expiration. You can see this is 1.6, 1.7 million almost. 1.7, 1.7, 2 million, 2 million. These are big orders, unusual and large, as you see. After you get past the $1 million point, it flips over to another color here. But the green means calls, and of course, red means put. It's 205 puts, Ward, it says here. 205 puts for Friday. But anyway, you got weeklies. If you want to do swing trading, you can select the swings. Right, it's going to give you dates that are beyond this coming Friday. If you want to do leaps, you've got a leaps area here. And I just picked Amazon. You, of course, could pick anything. Or if you don't want anything, you can leave it blank. And it will refill this, and it'll just talk about whatever are the top ones. It'll just run it that way. You know, wherever you can scroll down and see if you have a certain thing you're looking for, you put that in here. But notice here, there was the VIX on Friday at 425. There was two big orders that came in on the VIX for 522. We've got a little bit of time on those, but they came in for 20 calls on 522. And then you've got the weeklies, swings, and the leaps, right? And I was saying here, you can put the filter in. And if you want to pick the amount of money, maybe you only want to see $1 million orders, you can pick 1 million and then done. It'll only show you orders that are over $1 million. For whosoever, whichever stock you're looking at. You see there's some SPY and some SPX, and then there's some SOXL that's got a 35 call for this coming Friday. Now, what this is insane. Now, this is where it can be difficult for us sellers, right? For sellers, we want the price to stay above this strike for the entire week, right? That's what we are as seller. We want it to stay for the entire week. So that's why you got to go back to your chart to make sure that if you see there's an order for calls that are coming that for this coming Friday, but if it's a very large order, the price can move just a little bit, and that person can then take their money off the table, and the price can start doing whatever it's going to do. You can't automatically assume just because there's a call that goes in for an order for a call comes in on a Monday or comes in on Friday for the next Friday that it's going to stay green all week. It may and it may not. That's why we chart. So when I think about what would be the best uses for flow as a seller, I'm thinking definitely to look at weeklies. You can look at weeklies in conjunction with your chart. Please, I continue to repeat to go back to chart, because I don't think you should just go and pick a thing off, because generally these strike prices are going to be in the money anyway, right? So you're not going to pick these same strikes. You go look at the chart, you'll be like, that's not going to work for a seller, right? So definitely partner this up with your chart. And then maybe look at, like, if you're looking on the weeklies, you should look at like Wednesday or Thursday to see what the rest of the week holds. Because for us as sellers, we want time decay. We want it to be close to expiration. So we look in there for that, right? If you want to go out longer in time for swings, that may give you opportunity to go out with swings Swings could be 2 weeks. Swings don't have to be 5 and 6, 8 weeks. They can be, but they don't have to be, right? So let's say you go out 2 weeks, find a stock you like or find a strike you like and go with that, seeing that somebody or somebody's felt like it was going to be bullish. The bullish or bearish. I'm talking about going up, going down, because when you trade options, you can go either way, right? And if you're into leaps, then you do that. If you have certain stocks you want to do, put in the symbol that you like and go with that, right? Every day you're going to see call and put, so they'll be able to tell what's more going on. Are there more puts or there more calls? What's the overall flow? Is it bullish or bearish? But that just because the overall flow is bearish doesn't mean your stock is bearish, because your stock may be bullish for the day. Like we've seen Tesla doing some stuff, the whole market falling down and Tesla going up, whole market going up and Tesla's falling off a cliff. So, it depends. And I just pulled Tesla out as an example. But I think another thing that to use though is these trade alerts, because these are the unusual repeat orders. I see this as a very useful tool over here to the right, because these are coming in and you take these and you are going to partner them with your chart. Partner with your chart and decide support, resistance. Where would be a good entry place for me to sell my spreads or buy my spreads or buy calls or buy puts? I mean, whatever it is, whatever strategy that you're working, you decide what strategy you want to use, and then how will this strategy work for you, right? If you're a buyer, you're looking at buying stuff. If you're a seller, you're looking at selling stuff. All right. I think Janae said put in NVIDIA. This is NVIDIA. I'm going to go back to weekly so we can see what's going to go for 419. I want to say, here we go. I'm not going to say nothing. So at 4 o'clock at the end of the day, some orders for puts came down for this coming Friday, 895, 892.5, 750 calls, say about the same time. Some more puts here, some calls and some puts. That's why you partner this with your chart. Because, I mean, if you're just looking at this, you'll say, is it going down or up? But you see more green than red. There's more green than red. And all these came in at 359. Notice this, all these orders came in at 359. So lots of money went in at the end of the day. But there's some puts sprinkled in here too. Keep that in mind, okay? This is how you use Flow. All righty. It's $17 for the first month. You go to capitalflow.app, decide you're going to, give it a trial, run it. There's several. If you want to just see more videos about it, I'm going to take us to YouTube. If you want to see more videos about Capital Flow, JT has a YouTube channel and there's a watch list about Flow, and he shows you exactly how to use Flow. Okay. I just see that it could be quite useful. Let me see if I see it here. I'm sorry, y'all. I wasn't sharing my screen. That's why Jamie was calling me and then wouldn't say nothing. You should have just said, share your screen. This is JT. And there's a playlist here. Capital Flow training videos. Basically, let me see if I can grab the link for the playlist. Let me see if I do this playlist. I don't really want you to start up with the ad, because it'll do that. Save playlist. I need to share. There we go. We're going to share. How funny is that? Okay. There's the YouTube link for the playlist. The Almighty JT is who he is on YouTube. Okay. Let's go back and look at a few of our stocks. What do we have on here that we want to see? What do we have that we want to see? You're welcome, Erica. What do we have on here that we want to see? Tyson has showed up a few times. I didn't know Coca-Cola was a 50-cent spread. I'm going to go with Kroger. What else do we see on here? XOM, if EOG is going down, and that has held its own the last 2 weeks. Do you see XOM on here? I don't see XOM on the list. I mean, we'll look at it. And I don't know if I believe EOG is going down. I just showed you several $1 million worth of trades that are going on the call side. I wouldn't say I think it's going down. It may drop a bit, but I don't think it'll go down all week. And that's just my speculations. We don't put all that money in there. If it don't do something, it might not pop on Monday morning. Don't mean it won't pop. Okay. I put in Kroger. We put Kroger over here too. This is Kroger. Big old candle back here. Is this a daily chart? Nope, that's the weekly chart. We need the daily and the daily. I really am wondering, why am I not seeing the plus sign? So I can make these bigger. What happened there? What did you do with my plus sign? Yep, we can look at it. I'm going to take us back to something that's acting right. Okay. All right. Back here. This is Kroger. It's on our list. Looks like it is coming to, this is a daily chart, I hope. Yep. This was a support here. Are you serious? Y'all be showing out this, trying to show out for company. Here we go. Support is at 54.98, I believe that is 54.98. It's tapped it, went up, came back, and tapped again. We do have it on the list for a put credit spread because it is showing up as bullish on the watch list. Okay, now we've got a big old monstrous gap down here. Monstrous gap between 50.50 and 52.25 or 26, somewhere around in there. We got a big old gap there. Okay. Support here. So let me look in here because that big old candle has to have something inside of it. See if we can find some supports, some resistances, some zones inside of this big candle. Well, maybe this was a 30. These are the 30-minute chart, and this first candle is pretty big too. Let me see. I guess that would be resistance. Support would be right where we are, about 55.18. Based on some stuff that happened back here. This is probably a chair. Just pause right in here. Let me see. Change this to a line chart so we can see what's going on. Yep, right in here, we took a pause, and which lines itself up with all this stuff back here too. So we can go back to the candle. Anytime you get to a place and you can't really tell real clear if there's a zone, turn it to a line chart, and you can see that even over in here, price was stuttering around, and then it did the same thing here at 55.40. Now that shows that current price is at 55.20, and 55.40 is just above it. So if it wants to go up some, it's going to have to go back through that zone in order to keep going up. I don't know. I feel like we've got, if we're looking at a trend line on this, we would look at a trend line from up here going down. And listen, we trade what we see in these parts. Trade what we see, but it's had an overall trend upwards since February. It's been on an overall trend upwards. We don't ignore that. So now it's in the middle of these two. This probably would fall into the flag category almost. It's been in between these two trend lines, and it needs to bust out. It can bust out going up. It can bust out going down, right? Put credit spread again is still showing as bullish, just probably because of this long time that it's been bullish. So we put on our chart, on our graphic, we have Kroger at 57.5. That is high. Oh, that's Coca-Cola. Wrong one. Oh my goodness. I was like, wait a minute. 53.54. 53.54 is what we have for the zone. 54 being right here where my mouse is, where my line is currently. That's 54. Right? Which could be about halfway through this big old ginormous candle. About halfway through that candle puts you at 54. That's support. Right? 53.54 on there. Let's go look at Apple. I think before I go to Apple, didn't Janae ask for Exxon first? And then we'll go there. Okay. ExxonMobil, it's definitely been on an upwards ride as well. We can see this has been going upwards. Now it had a few down days. I'm thinking last week might have been a down week. Let's go and see what the weekly candle looks like. Okay. Candle whisperers. Candle whispers. What does this last candle here tell us? Does it tell us anything? Does it give us some insight? This is the weekly chart now. Does it give us some insight? I'm waiting for some folks to reply. First of all, we need to know what it's called. And what does it usually mean? It's test time. Testing. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? What kind of candle is this red one here? Don't be shy. Share and share like. Let us know what kind of candle that is. Share the information. About this one up here? The Harami. Look at Erica. Would it be Harami? Bearish Harami. I just know it's engulfing. No, it's not engulfing. Engulfing means the next candle is bigger than the previous one. Engulfing would be the other way around. Inverted hammer. I would go with inverted hammer because of the long wick. I believe Haramis, and y'all can definitely, I'm not opposed to a discussion or not opposed to being, corrected. This one here, Janae, these two candles here, these would be an engulfing, where this green one engulfs the previous candle. Okay, it engulfs the previous candle. This here it would be, it can look like a harami, but I think the haramis don't necessarily have that big of a wick up there like that. It could. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the last candle. Thank you, Erica. So, well, Michelle said, is the set of candles a bearish wedge? Ooh, look at there. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. A bearish wedge. Are you talking about all these candles or just these two? We still see there was a lot of buyers. There was some buying pressure, but the sellers kind of pushed it back down. It didn't close above the high of the previous week. This is the weekly candles we're looking at. Inverted hammer. Did we talk about what does an inverted hammer do? What does an inverted hammer usually signify? Does it signify more movement upwards or does it signify a turnaround? An inverted hammer at the top. This is our daily, trying to put some lines on it. Generally signifies a reversal. XOM has been up here. It's had a nice run, but it could just be, it very well could just be a pullback. Could just pull back to get some more strength. That's a rejection in the seller zone, possible reversal, but it can always go up. All of them. I don't know what call it a bearish wedge. It's been going up, so I probably would go with bullish. Definitely a rejection was in the sell zone because it didn't go up any higher. There was sellers up here that when the sellers pushed it back down, the buyers was trying to go, like we're trying to go up. It went as high as 123, but it closed at 120. Right. So this is a daily chart I'm looking at now. Daily chart. We've got another zone down in here where it pauses, but it's been on such a green move that sometimes it's harder to chart when all you got is a bunch of green candles. And what you do in that situation was the same thing I did, and that's to go into smaller time frames and find zones on smaller time frames. So if you're looking here, we could probably change this to a line and may see some stuff here too. We change it to a line. We see there's some places like here where there are chairs and places where people could sit. Nope, I don't want that. I want a line. Here we go. Like this one here would be a line could go there. No, this is momentum. Nothing really stops and pauses in here. And there's support and resistance right where current price is 120.06. Okay, let's go back to our candles. So what we got going for XOM, if we're looking, because it's been running, and this is the other thing, we got wars and rumors of wars, which are affecting the Middle East, which does affect our oil. Oil seems to be moving upwards during these war times. So maybe it just pulled back a bit in order to go on up some more. So of course, we take in mind the chart. You keep in mind what the chart is showing. And you also take in mind, what's going on, right? What is the current events? And a war is actually good for oil. So it may go up some more. So we don't have XOM. If I was thinking about a strike, I probably would go with this 119. I think I have Thinkorswim open. Yeah, we're looking at it. We're looking at Thinkorswim. If I was looking at XOM and thinking about a trade for this week with a put credit spread, well, we got 65% at 119 and 74% at 118. So either 118 or 119 as far as strikes. And of course, the market is closed, so these numbers are not going to be all the way accurate. But 118, 119, it's paying 28, and 117, 118 is paying $18. Okay, so in this area, again, if you're going with at least, this is 74% probability out of the money. If you want to go to 80%, then definitely go down to 117. Hold on to 117. But when we look at the chart and we see where is the support, there's support like right around where we are right now, because this downward got rejected as well on Friday. It closed at 120. 120.4 is where it closed. And we're talking about 118 or 119 as your strike. That is below this. You got another support at 119.29, and then there's 113. This is all momentum, but this bottom of the gap is also going to provide some support at 117 throughout this gap, 117 and 118. I'm going to look at the plus minus number. Plus minus 3.2. So taking away 3 would put you at 117. Put you at 117, which would put you right here at the bottom of this gap. Whole point is that you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in a safe zone. Janae says, bearish pin bar. Yep. All righty. That was Exxon. Let's go look at Apple. Let's go look at Apple. This is the daily chart. Let's start with the weekly. We got support at 168. Come on, just give me the line so I can move it. We got another support at 171. Another support at 174. There's a gap here on the weekly chart. That's what we're on right now, right? There's a gap on this weekly chart between February 26th and that first week of March. And that gap still waiting to be filled. It's had some price action go into it, but the body of a candle hasn't gone through it just yet. It does seem, though, if you look at the trend line, it's been on a downwards trend, and maybe it's time for a little bit of pop on the Apple side. Okay, if we're looking here at this trend line, we also I could have trended it from there to there. That will give you a little more room to come up this side. When you do a trend line, you need to hit at least 2 candles, but as many as possible. As many as possible. There's another of those inverted. There's another inverted hammer we were talking about right here, this green one. And what that one showed is, let me get my thing moving. Where are you? There we go. It rejected there and came on down. That's usually what those mean. Bearish pin bar, as Janae's called it. That's Apple. So let me zoom out a little bit, though, because we might see. Michelle, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking about for Apple? Just looking to see what's where. I do see a support here. Let me go look back a little bit further, because there was a lot of green over here. So we're looking to see this is a weekly chart. I'll go back to the daily chart as well, so I can see where we got zones underneath us, which our current area where we are, we're actually in a support. Well, it's out of the support area, hit this support and ran on out. And it is currently in a resistance area. Went right up to this resistance at 178, bumped against it and rejected. So basically it's kind of torn between 2 zones. It's torn between 2 zones. Let's go to a daily chart, see if we see some other stuff. Support. Let me see. I need to be able to move this a little bit. Something happened up in here. where we have the 173. This area wasn't able to really go past it. It blew past it up here. And now that it's over it, if it comes back to touch the 173, it may play support now. May give it some boost to going up a little higher, because we've got two good green days. It kind of got rejected on Friday by the resistance area of 178, but it may go back up to retest it again. Current price is at 176. Let's go look at some probabilities out of the monies. So if you're looking at a put credit spread, you can look at 172.5 or 170. 170 could do that on the put credit spread side. If you're looking on the call credit spread side, you can go at 180 or 182.5. If you're going to do an iron condor, you might as well get as far away as you can on both sides, because you're going to pull in money in both places. So you don't have to be as pressed to get money on one side or the other. But you kind of want to have an idea of where we're going. But Apple's been in this consolidation zone. I did not mean to do that. In this consolidation area for a minute. So you can see it's really been, well, it's been in the zone, not really consolidation, but let's say it's between 167 or this 168, and it's gone as high as 178. So it's been like a 10-point, it's been inside of this 10-point bounce since March, early March. It's been in this 10-point window. So when we go back, above this window would be the 180. Below this window would be 165. Okay, 165 is actually below it. That's a 90-something% probability of the money. That's because the last 2 days were so green. But if you wanted to go with, let's say 165, 167.5, 170, let's change it over. I would go at 170 and, what did I say? 170 and 182. 170 and 182. 167, 170 currently shows $19, right? And then 182, 185 would pay $26. If you wanted to go with those two together, you're talking about what, $46? Let's do it as an iron condor so we can see the money. If you would just enter it as an iron condor, we wanted the you have to, when you do it like an iron condor, which I do not suggest you do it as all four, because it's an opportunity to make a mistake. On the call side, we were going to 182, 182.5, 185. That's on the call side. And on the put side, we were going with the sell leg of 170 and the buy leg of 167.5. If you do it, I did this so you can see the money. At this point, it's showing $47 to take in for the entire iron condor. Well, we're talking about a 250 spread. So this is almost 20% return on premiums. Almost a 20% return on your collateral. Michelle said because it's been a downward trend, she was looking at a call credit spread. Okay, call credit spread. If we're looking at a call credit spread, I would look at the 180. It has been on a downtrend, but it definitely has hit something here and decided to get excited. I think, what was some news? Wasn't there some news about Apple? This had to be a news day on Thursday. There's no way it got this big of a candle off of just regular operations. Something happened on Thursday. It's definitely been on a downtrend, but it's kind of been in a zone for the past, month and some change. I'm not opposed to the call credit spread. I probably would go with 180 after you've made sure that you were comfortable with what it was trying to do next, or whatever that news was that may have pushed it. Let's go take a real quick look at, did I close? I turned off Capital Flow. Take a quick look at Capital Flow. We may be able to see that there was some Apple stuff that came in on Capital Flow. My computer has slowed way down trying to keep up with too many charts at one time. That's what's going on there. I got that chart open. I'm going to close you because you're pulling a lot of movement. Okay, so I'm looking at Apple on Capital Flow. And I think we looked at this. There were some puts, a few puts here, but then there's some 177.5 calls. I think these two together might have made up a straddle or something. These might make up a straddle. But we see more. You got 170 calls, 182.5 puts. We were talking about put credit spreads. Sometimes you see like this one here says it's neutral, and it could go either way. Calls, some more calls. Bullish here. Bullish. These are all for this coming Friday. It's not cut and dry. There's less puts than there are calls. So you partner this with the chart to see what it is we like. What it is you like. We'll partner it with the chart. Okay. What else did we have? We looked at EOG. We looked at, I know I wanted to look at, before we left, I wanted to look at AMD. We actually could go look at Taiwan Semiconductors since it's on our list. Which one do you think is more affordable? Is a 2.5 spread AMD or TSM? Looks like AMD has some 2.5s and some 5s. And let's see what TSM has. TSM used to be a 1 spread. It still is. Okay, TSM it is. We want to, if we can get what we want off of some 1 spreads, that's where we go. Taiwan Semiconductors. This is the daily chart. Support at 138. Support in the area of 135. There's a gap here that needs filling. Another one here, but that one needs to just be expanded to match up with where we currently are. This one here has been closed. Okay. 142, its support basically is where it just dropped to 142, and we've got some resistance at 147, as well as we went up as high as 158 in March. This one wasn't an inverted hammer, it's a full out hammer. Or doji or sword or whatever you want to call this little guy. Where'd you go? There you are. This little guy here, you almost can't see him with the line there. Talk about the price being in the exact same place to open and close. A lot of price action happened, but it just kind of sat still right there. Jeremy says tech earnings are coming up, so a lot of 1 spreads might be starting to stretch to 2.5. That's true. That's true. This created and left a pretty big gap there between those two. Price action, like I said, has gone and kind of filled those, but the body of the candle hasn't yet. So, the way NVIDIA ran last week, Taiwan Semiconductor definitely holds their own. I don't know if I'd bet against them as far as upwards movement. They've kind of been in a a zone too for a minute, but you see this has been an upwards trend. It's been an upwards trend. It's got a little bit here where it ran up, and then there wasn't earnings back there, was it? No. And then dropped back down. Definitely has hit support there. So if I was looking at Taiwan Semiconductors, I'd look at so plus minus 10. Plus minus 10. So 132, that's like a long way away, don't it? But the the probability out of the money in the 70s would be down at 134. You could do 132. Don't know what kind of money down there. 132 or 134. Let's see what it's looking like on a day when the market's closed. Looks like 131, 132 is paying $16. That's 16% return. 134, it's like it's paying 22. We always, I know these screens look very small when y'all are on this, when I'm looking at the screen. What we always do though is you look at the stock you want to look at on Monday morning, Tuesday morning, whichever day it is you're going to think about entering, or whenever you're going to enter. You check your chart. You look again to make sure the price action is going in the way you thought it was going to go. Do not just blindly take these numbers that are here. They may still be good numbers. The numbers I put at the time that I looked over the weekend, looking at support and resistance, these numbers were good at the time, right? I don't just throw random numbers on here. But by the time Monday opened, some news could have happened. Something could go on. These numbers could need to be altered, could need to be shifted. So you want to look at your chart to make sure you still agree with these numbers. Are these numbers below support? It's what you're asking yourself. Are these numbers below support? Right? Because these are all put credit spreads. So the highest number should be underneath a support area. And if it's not, then you want to make sure that you adjust it to be underneath support. And if you're not sure when it comes Monday or Tuesday, you're looking at it and you're not sure, put a message in our Telegram. If you're one of our community members and somebody in our community is going to answer, most likely it'll be me, but somebody else will answer too. We got enough people who watch and see and say, well, I don't know, that may seem a little close, that seems a little far. Yeah. When you're on the call in the morning with Jamie or me, you can always ask these questions if you're in our community. You ain't got to be in our community if you're on the YouTube. You can ask, but if you want to ask inside the Telegram, be sure that obviously you got to be in a community. But yeah, definitely check. Make sure that you agree, and then that you're cool with the amount of premiums you're going to take in, and then enter the trade. Right? You still go through the same steps. Check your probability out of the money. Check your delta. If you use delta, look to see if it made some crazy move in pre-market, and then set your stuff that way. Okay. Don't forget, we already mentioned to start with the chart. We're starting with the charting, right? Go there, startwiththechart.com, and take a look at that free webinar. You can do that. The E2T membership, I was just talking about being in our community. We have morning calls every morning. We're on YouTube either at 9 or 9:30, depending on which day of the week it is. There's charting that happens there. We look at what's in the market, what kind of market information there is to have, the VIX, the futures, the other things, what other news has come out, what could cause stocks to move, what current events are happening. We talk about all those things. We do some charting, definitely of the biggest movers. And we look at what kind of opportunities could you possibly have for the day. All right. That's what we do on those calls. We do a weekly training call every Thursday. We did charting this past Thursday. This coming week, we're going to talk about cash secure put. So we're talking strategies this week. So we do that on a weekly call. And then we have monthly coaching call every first Saturday. Jamie did Cash Flow 101 and ain't tell nobody. Why you didn't tell us? We forgot and you didn't remind us. Cash Flow 101 is the game they play with Jamie. Janae, I heard you were a blast that Jamie and Saida played with y'all. Yeah, we usually come. Jamie didn't even remind us to come. Anyway, we usually play Cash Flow 101 on second Saturday, which is open to anyone. You don't have to be in the community to do that, right? What was I getting ready to say? Oh, I didn't finish talking about the membership. Membership is open. It's $97. You can always go to educator to trader, educator to trader, educator to trader. and get any of the things that we have. You can go there for any of the resources that I have, any of the trainings, any to sign up for anything I got going. You can find it at educatortotrader.com. Be sure to follow me in all the places. You got YouTube, which y'all are already on YouTube. We got Facebook. We got a Facebook group. Educator to Trader is the group. We're on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I actually did some TikTok videos today while I was out and about. I went to the farmer's market today and walked around and then went for a little stroll with Mr. P. And that was good. I enjoyed the farmer's market. I actually didn't know. We've talked about the farmer's market so many times, but I didn't know where it was. So we went today and I got some smoked salmon from the farmer's market. Ooh, it was delicious. It was so delicious. Yes. Okay. All righty, everyone. Don't forget, tomorrow morning we will be on at 9:25. Yes, 9:25. Yes, 9:25 on Mondays. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:25. Tuesday, Thursday, 9 o'clock. We'll be online on YouTube, streaming live. We talked about a few things today. We talked about EOG, right? We talked about Exxon. We talked about Apple. We talked about talk about it. We talked about Kroger. We talked about Nvidia. We talked about Taiwan Semiconductors. Oh, Jamie said he put stuff in the graphic. I did not see anything in the Telegram on cash flow. I promise you. And you know I watch it. So I didn't see anything in there about cash flow. Not saying you didn't do it, just saying I didn't see it. So perhaps you do like I do, Mr. P. Perhaps you thought you did it. Definitely didn't see it in either place. Okay, at either time. Those stuff we looked at. Those are things we looked at: EOG, XOM, Apple, Kroger, Nvidia, and Taiwan Semiconductors. I think that was all the ones we looked at. I feel like there's one more, but I can't remember it. Okay. All righty, everybody. Y'all have a really good evening, and I will see you all. Don't forget, we also talked about Capital Flow. If you go over to Capital Flow and you hooked up with JT, please let him know that I sent you. All right. I will see you all in the morning. Hasta mañana. All right. Of course, we always do two things here. We like to stay green and we like to get this money. All righty, everybody. I'll see y'all in the morning. Goodbye. 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 You're welcome. It's Erica. Thanks for hanging out with us.